All right, I will give you guys a little bit of music as well. And if you want to grab a pillow, a block, if you have it, awesome. Have that close by. And we can sit on a pillow to start. Or if you really feel like you need to be closer to the ground, you can lie back. You can place that pillow if it feels good behind the back of your heart, like in between your shoulder blades, finding that supported fish position that we've been taking. That works too. And just take a few moments to settle in, get yourself nice and comfy. Close your eyes if that feels okay, or just soften your gaze. And take a deep breath in and all the way out. And do that a few more times, just to settle, to soften, just to arrive. And so this practice of getting still, or meditation as it's often called, right? Sometimes that word can be fairly intimidating because we think that meditation means we have to clear our mind completely. But really, that is sometimes just nearly impossible, right? Our brains are meant to have thought or create thoughts. And so a teacher of mine uses this analogy that always has stuck with me, but this analogy of a snow globe. So we spend a lot of time throughout our day putting more and more things into our sphere. And the mental load, of course, as a result, just gets bigger and bigger or heavier. And oftentimes it just becomes harder to connect with ourselves, maybe our true thoughts, our wants, our needs. Or even the idea of stillness. And so, yes, you are human and you can spend your day shaking that sphere or that snow globe up. But then meditation or a yoga practice is just this gift of setting that sphere down. If even just for a brief few minutes. And as you set that sphere, that snow globe down, you might start to notice that things just start to settle and soften around you. So that mental load might just become a little bit lighter. And then the vision or the connection with what you might need becomes a little bit clearer. And so for me, when I feel like things are swirling and whirling like crazy chaos surrounding me, that visual is sometimes really nice to give myself permission to pause, to lighten the load, and maybe even just soften the attachment to it, if even just for a breath or two. And so coming into this activity of pranayama or breath work, I want you to just start to visualize and think of your torso in 3 parts. And so almost like a glass of water or a pitcher of water, if you were to pour water into that vessel, it would fill up from the bottom to the middle to the top, full of water. But in this instance, I want you to think about it as air, like breath, right? So we fill from the bottom to the middle to the top. And then if you were to pour that vessel out, you would empty it from the top, the middle, and then the bottom would get empty. Like you would get empty all the way to the bottom. So just keeping that in mind. If it feels okay, bring one hand or both hands onto the place right above your navel, but be gentle. Be easy with yourself. See if you can sit up a little bit taller. And take a breath in. Start to fill up. And feel your belly fill up. Almost press out slightly and then exhale out. Notice as it slightly draws in. Take a few more rounds of breath like that. Breathing in. Expanding in that space. And then exhaling out, contracting. And take that as many times as you need to really connect with the movement, whether it's prominent or subtle, the movement that happens in that space in your body when you breathe. And then just moving to that middle part, take your hands, wrap them around your side waist, and then maybe up a little higher around your ribs so you can really connect with your ribs. And then breathe in, feel that space expand out laterally. And breathe all the way out. Feel it contract. Do that a few more times. Breathe in. And out. Feeling that expansion on the inhale, sitting up tall. And empty. And bring your hands right to your sternum, maybe slightly higher, right to the center of your chest, maybe one hand on top of the other. Thinking about this as your 3rd part here, you breathe all the way in, feel your chest rise. It might even just be slight, and then breathe all the way out. Find that ease. Do that 2 more times. Breathe in. And out. Last one, expand. Maybe even open up your mouth. Let out a sigh. So nice. So you have those three parts. Go ahead and take your hands down. And if you're sitting cross-legged, take your legs out in front of you, give them a shake. It's a long time to sit, and ask your legs to be still. So start to roll the ankles, wiggle the toes, fan them out. Take what you need. And then either keep them long or cross the opposite shin in front. We're going to sit up nice and tall and bring all three parts together into a 3-part breath. And so you'll sit up nice and tall. And thinking about those 3 parts, take a breath in to the bottom third, second third, all the way to the top to the collarbones, and then breathe out. Think about emptying from the top, middle, pressing all the air out at the bottom as you can. Doing that a few more times on your own. Breathe in to the top. And then breathe all the way out. Just as slow to get empty. I want you to just take 3 to 5 more rounds here. Go for that. Exploring that slow breath in to capacity. And then all the way out. I'm just asking your diaphragm to do a little more work, but being gentle, full of ease in that ask. So not making it forceful at all, making it full of ease. So it's that one thing you get to focus on. To let all of the things in your sphere hopefully settle and soften around you without even knowing. And we'll take one more together when you're ready. Breathe all the way into the top. Sit up really tall here. Expand through the chest. And then open up your mouth. Clear it out. Slowly start to drop your chin to the center of your chest and roll your right ear over to the right, nice and gentle. Chin back to the center and your left ear over to the left. Back through center. And then lift your chin, lift your face, maybe even open the eyes if they haven't already. And then come back to center. And just for a moment, look over your right shoulder. Back to center and look over your left. Back to center. And meet me in tabletop position if that feels right. If you're ready to move, if you need to be in stillness a little longer, stay in stillness. Be my guest always. Once you are in tabletop pose, spread the fingers nice and wide apart to make that firm foundation underneath your shoulders. And then start to take lateral movement side to side. So think right ribs over to the right. And then left ribs over to the left. So just gentle movement side to side, but thinking about that C curve. Awesome. And then start to lift your heart, find cow, maybe even lift the chin, lift the face. And then exhale to slowly round and drop your chin towards your chest. Do that 2 more times with your own breath. Inhale to lift the heart. Exhaling to round. Come back to neutral. Start to walk your hands up your thighs. So you'll just rise onto your knees. And take a breath in, maybe arms out like a T with your palms open. And then if you need to, soften through the elbows to create that W, that letter W with the arm. And then when you're ready, spin your palms behind you. So thumbs down, and then take your arms down along your sides. So just a gentle sort of activation in the shoulders. Think about pressing your palms towards a wall behind you. And it doesn't have to be forceful. It's just enough to turn the upper arms on a little more and open through the collarbones to your degree. Take a breath in, maybe lift the chin, lift the face. And then stay here or start to bend at the elbows and take palm over palm onto your low back. So the palms are open, they're facing behind you. And then if you want to stay here, stay, or elbows go back a little, shoulders go back, chest can lift, face can lift. And then come back to neutral. So nice. Step your right foot forward. And for a moment, bring your right hand on top of your right thigh. And make sure you're nice and sturdy in the legs. And then you can reach the left arm either up and overhead or bend it out like a goalpost. Now take a breath here. I want you to think about the front of your left hip getting a little bit longer here. We often don't take time to do that because we spend so much time like the opposite leg, like sitting, walking. So just take this moment to let that get a little longer as you breathe in. So nice. And then your hands come down inside that right foot, nice and slow for support. Tuck the back toes and lift that knee up. And you can spin that heel down and just start to rise up to a warrior two position. You can bend the elbows like that letter W if that feels okay, like you're holding plates. And then draw the shoulders away from the ears. Notice if they're holding tension there. Breathe in, breathe out. And then straighten the legs, parallel the feet. Hands to your hips here. You can even widen your stance or shorten your stance, your choice. Lift the chest, breathe in. And then hinge at the hips here, maybe even softening the knees a lot to then let your hands come down, let your head drop. If you want to grab a block to bring the earth up a little higher to your hands, awesome option. And even if it feels better to keep your chest parallel to the ground, do that. That might feel really good. So you're still getting a stretch, but then you can let your head go, let your neck soften. Big inhale, big exhale. And you'll just slowly start to rise back up, stand up. And then step to the front of your mat. Step your feet so they land right underneath your hips. Flip your palms forward, arms down along your sides. Shrug your shoulders as you breathe in. Open your mouth, let out that sigh. And then maybe one hand right above your navel and then your other hand to your heart to take one big 3-part breath here. So just dialing back in, breathing in for 3, 2, 1. Maybe even open up your mouth again as you exhale. 3, 2, 1. You can sweep the arms either all the way up or bend at the elbows, whatever feels good, and bring your hands to your heart center. Start to heel toe your feet just a little bit wider, and then bend your knees, sit back into an easy chair pose. To your degree, of course, but keeping your hands at your heart, I want you to lift your sternum towards your thumbs rather than rounding here, right? So you think about your spine being nice and long. You keep that natural low curve in your low back. Take one more full breath in, big breath out, and then you get to stand all the way up. Keep your hands at your heart, shift your weight into your left foot, and find Vrikshasana, tree pose. Right foot can come right above your ankle. Maybe it still stays on the ground for a little kickstand. And then stand up nice and tall here. If you want to reach your arms up, awesome. But I like often to stay right here, feel grounded. Me coming back to that visualization of things softening as you anchor yourself down with your breath, right in the middle of all of that happening. Breathe in. Find that ease as you empty. And then you'll start to plant that right foot down. Take a breath in to lift your heart towards your thumbs, maybe even lift your chin, lift your face. Soften through the knees like you were coming through chair. And then start to hinge at the hips. If you need to take your feet a little bit wider, awesome, do that. And then fold, drop the head. And then maybe bend one knee. And then the other, maybe start to even like rock the hips side to side, if that feels okay. Nice and gentle. Take a halfway lift. Hands to your thighs, reach your heart forward. And then you can drop your hands down or bring your hands to that block. Nice and easy, step your left foot back and drop your left knee down. Lift your chest, coming back to that lunge. And reach your arms up and overhead or bend at the elbows. One last time here, right hand to your left wrist. Or you can just drape that wrist right on top of your head and then maybe lean over to the right. Creating a little bit more length through the front of that hip, a lateral stretch through the left side. And then come back up through center. Right knee comes to meet the left. Come back to tabletop pose. Hands land under your shoulders. Nice and easy, lift your chest, find cow, breathe in. Exhale to round, cat. Take two more like that on your own, moving through those two shapes, but with that full inhale and a full exhale. And start to walk your hands back up your thighs. Stay here for a moment. You'll rise and lift through the chest. Take the arms out like a T, palms forward to start, or bend at the elbows, of course. And then flip your palms back behind you, arms down along your sides. And then that invisible wall behind you. Imagine you're just pressing back on it. Doesn't have to be like 10 million%. Just enough to open through the chest. That might even be like 1 little inch. That's okay. Maybe lift the chin, lift the face, breathe in, expand. And then come back to neutral with the head, bend through the elbows, maybe palm over palm on your low back. Or if you're ready for a little bit more, you can grab opposite wrists behind you. Now, same idea, elbows draw back, shoulders draw back, chin lifts, face lifts, if that feels okay. Breathe in. Maybe open up the mouth, finding that ease. Come back to neutral, release the arms. Take a roll of the shoulders as you step the left foot forward. Coming into that lunge on the other side. Left hand to your thigh. And either right arm reach it up overhead. Or bend it out to the side. Or ditch that completely. You can always still find that right arm behind you. Or not behind you, beside you, along your side. And then think about the front of that right thigh, maybe getting a little longer, front of the hip, out through the crown of the head. Stay, one more inhale. Long exhale. And bring your hands inside that left foot. Just for a moment. You can even wiggle walk that foot a little wider out to the left to create space. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee. Spin that heel down. Slowly rise up to warrior two. Arms either long or bent like a letter W. The words are in there. They just don't always come out the right way. Take a breath in. Strong breath out. One more to ground down through the feet. But feel lightness through the chest, through the face. Straighten the legs, parallel the feet, hands to your hips. Really find your footing here, whether it's a little wider or narrow. Lift your chest. Soften through the knees, hinge at the hips to then fold down, either hands to a block, your pillow, whatever it is, or the ground. Drop your head. Shake your head, yes. Maybe shake your head, no. Think about a halfway lift here. Taking a breath in. Hands return to your hips as you slowly stand back up. Step to the top of your mat. Palms face forward, arms down along your sides. Shrug your shoulders, breathe in. Open your mouth. And then one last time here in standing, bring one hand to your navel, one hand to your chest. Full inhale with all three parts. And then that healing, slow breath out as you empty. Bringing hands to your heart center. Maybe even take your feet just a little bit wider and then bend through your knees. Sit back into chair pose. You have 3 rounds of breath just to create a little bit of heat, a little bit of strength here. For 3. 2. Last one. And you'll slowly stand up. Keep your hands at your heart. Shift your weight into the right foot. Find tree pose. Left foot can join your ankle, maybe your calf. And then again, soften your shoulders. Take that check in with your jaw. Notice if you're clenching. Soften your face. Maybe even soften your gaze. Take a full breath in. Long breath out. One more inhale right here. And then gently release that left foot down. Maybe take a roll of the wrists, roll the ankles. You can even widen your stance with the feet a little bit more because you'll take a breath in, maybe hands to your heart, lift your face, breathe in. Bend through the knees first, then hinge at the hips, like you were sending your heart forward to slowly fold. And if it doesn't feel okay to drop the head, keep the head where it is. Keep it in line with the spine forward, like you were coming into a halfway lift. Full breath in. Big breath out. And then it's a big halfway lift here. So hands can come to your thighs. Really reach your heart forward, almost like you have traction to lengthen your spine away from your pelvis here. And then refold. Maybe hands can come to a block for support as you step your right foot back and drop your right knee down. And then you'll lift the chest. Stay here if you wish, or arms can reach overhead, bending through the elbows. And this time it's left hand to your right wrist. Maybe that right forearm just drapes on top of your head. Stay here or lean over to the left. And you'll rise up. Left knee comes to meet the right. One last time, tabletop pose. You can even close your eyes if it feels good. So you can lift your heart into cow on the breath in. And then exhaling to round into cat pose. About 3 to 5 rounds on your own. And take your knees a little bit wider. Your big toes can come together. Send your seat back if you want to slide that pillow underneath you. Maybe forearms slide underneath that for a little ramp. Maybe even a block slides underneath to create that solid ramp. And then you can bring one ear down to the other. And if that does not feel okay, you can flip onto your back and take that supported fish position. And we're going to make our way there next. So I'll just give up like a few different options for whatever your body is craving, whether it's drawing in and curling in and that feels okay, you take that. Or if it's opening the chest a little more, also an option. Wherever you've chosen to be, see if you can close your eyes. Allow yourself to be exactly as you are, without any judgment. Just observe. Observe the breath traveling in as it makes its way to the top. And notice as it travels all the way to the bottom. Staying here, of course, as long as you need, or just gently coming back up. You might choose to keep that structure with the pillow and with your block. As you start to spin, just spin to the back of your mat, or to face the back of your mat, rather. You can lie down on that structure if you know that that's where you'd like to land in your final rest. Or you can find your whole body on the ground, maybe a pillow under your head, either keeping your knees bent or taking your legs long. So they're all just options, whether it's ending up on that ramp on the earth, completely on the ground, with or without props. Allow yourself to feel supported. Again, take a big breath in. A long breath out. Stay in the present moment. That's where you find life's magic. How overwhelmed we feel when we anticipate the future. All that needs doing, all the tasks, the work, the potential problems, the responsibilities. How tired we become when we dwell on what we've done already, the energy we've expended, and sometimes the imperfect results. Yes, sometimes to stay in the present moment, we need to visit the past, to clear out an old feeling, to heal an old limiting belief. But that visit can be brief. And sometimes we need to think about the future, to make commitments, to plan, to envision where we want to go. But to linger there can cause unrest. It can spoil the moment we're in now. So stay in the present moment. The past and the future will fall naturally into place. Stay in the present moment. That's where you find life's magic. Allow your next breath to be just a little bit bigger. And send a little more energy, a little more life to your fingers, toes, wrists, ankles. You might even rock your head side to side, slowly, gently, waking your body up. And you can bend your knees, even roll to one side and slowly press yourself up to a seat. And once you're there, bring your hands together right in front of your heart. And in this present moment, honor yourself for showing up, for making space in your day, to create space in your body, space in your mind. Maybe to lessen that load or let that vision of your needs be a little more clear. Take a breath in again together. Open your mouth like a slow sigh out. You can take your thumb tips to the center of your forehead. It's a reminder always, this time, letting it be a practice of kindness to yourself so you can share it in your own way with others. Namaste. Thank you, ladies.